You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You know what you are? You're a popcorn salesman.
Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Home Stretch.
All right, let's hit the field.
With Tyler and friends.
Hello! I wasn't kidding. Welcome to the Home Stretch. I'm your host, Tyler Harrison, along with our newfound friends, Eric and Jordan. Hello, guys.
What's going on?
How's it going? I think everyone wants you guys to move a little bit forward. No? Yes? Possibly?
Cool.
Anything? There you go. And of course, our beloved producer slash co-host over there, Speedy Petey.
Now, does that make me an extra co-host, or does it make me, like, neutral?
It makes you a utility man is what it makes you.
There's eventually somebody double negatives.
We hope you're neutral.
No, it's more like you're a jack of all trades and a master of none type thing.
Okay, sounds good.
There you go. So, before we get into everything, obviously there's a little bit of a new thing going on here. Eric and Jordan are going to be with me as much as humanly possible going forward. And you're about to see me move about 5 feet. Oh, no, maybe not. Errol Marks is touching things, so I'm not telling Errol Marks what to do with anything. But Eric, Jordan, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're going to be here a while.
Well, I've lived on Long Island my whole life.
Well, it'd be good if they knew which one you were.
I'm Jordan. Eric right here. I've loved sports my whole life, and look forward to talking sports with you guys.
I'm Eric, and I'm going to let you guys form your own opinion. How about that? That's really all I can say. You know. It's
Okay.
That sounds good already, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
But we'll find out.
We will find out. We've got a lot to get to. Obviously, a lot of the show is going to be just me talking about stuff we've already touched on, but let's just be honest, I was talking to myself. So now that I have actually live, breathing human beings that don't agree with me about everything, well, hopefully not, we could have some more in-depth conversation that maybe I didn't even know was possible. So it's definitely a good thing. Thank you guys for joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And
looking forward to it,
yeah. Oh, what did you guys practice that? That was like a synchronized swimming thing. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So there is a little bit of a tradition on this show, and until we get Eric and Jordan accustomed to it, I have to kind of do it myself because I started.
Well, let's see what it is.
And that's what she said. Anyway. No? Too soon? Yeah? All right, whatever. I tried. So, Speedy, there's really only basketball on today. So I guess we can start with the association, if you will. All right, so here we go. Ready? The Washington Wizards are up 100-86 over the Cavaliers. It's really completely useless. At this point, Bradley Beal is only really introducing himself. And thank you, Eric Bowe. You beautiful man. You beautiful, beautiful man. And, And then the Los Angeles Lakers are also in town. They beat the Knicks mercifully the other night. Now they're taking on the Brooklyn Nets, and they're actually losing 54-53 to the Brooklyn Nets. And then later today, if you want a good basketball game, this is a game to watch. Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers take on Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. That game will be... Those are, to me, two of the 5 guys for the MVP race right there. So that's going to be exquisite. Then you've got LeBron James, who everyone, he could break his neck and everyone would say it was the greatest thing ever, so that's fun. And then there's college basketball. Number 11, Michigan State is actually trailing 4-0 right now in the early goings of this basketball game, obviously by the score, to Indiana. And then later tonight, you've got 25-ranked Houston taking on Connecticut, 22 Colorado taking on Washington State, and then 17 Oregon taking on USC. And they're always, that game could be pretty good as well.
Oregon just won an overtime thriller over the weekend. So.
They did.
Yeah.
And then for those of you wondering, there's even a golf tournament. Yes, the Farmers Insurance Open in California. Yeah, that's right. We get deep in this show. We get real deep. You better have your swimmies on.
Sounds like a hole-in-one.
Holy moly. Steph Curry should have been a Knick. That would have been great. That would have been absolutely terrific. Your
One
leader
pick
is
short.
What happened?
1 pick short.
Yeah, well, Nick luck, right?
Well, who knows?
You've got, who knows? There's somebody in this room right now that's probably going to turn around and say, I didn't even want Steph Curry. Watch. Watch.
It would've changed
He's
your
not
life.
going to do it. He's not going to give me the satisfaction, but he wants to do it.
No,
He absolutely wants to do
He
it.
says he didn't hate him in college.
Anyway, the leader is Keegan Bradley and Sebastian Kaplan at -6. And at -5, Byung-Yeon An. I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce that. And then Joel Dahmen and Kevin Tway. That's really his name, Tway, I swear. Coolest last name in golf. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Around the World in Sports, brought to you by New York Sports Scene. Check us out. We're all over the website. And also be sure to check out Nightlife and other Long Island press that they provide. And, yeah, if you want to call, the number is 1-845-478-3272. Again, it's new to me, too. So there we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so, Eric, you're very excited. I can tell you're excited. Maybe you're not as excited as I thought.
I'm very excited. Let's dive into it.
So, being that you are not guests, but you're new additions, right? You're the shining prize of the shining prize of the auction, right?
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. They got picked to be with me, so really, who's the winner here, right? So, anyway, what did you two just make the same face at the same time?
So as you were saying,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The shiny new prize. I will let you start with whatever you want, good sir. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
well, I tell you what, there's a lot of Hall of Fame rumors, not rumors, but
Rumors?
A lot of Hall of Fame kind of talk right now between baseball, football.
Yeah.
You know, there's someone who just announced a retirement, maybe a face in New York, possibly. But let's get into that. Let's talk Eli.
Mayor de Blasio finally retired?
So
No?
Eli,
Sorry. Too soon.
Eli.
I scared the crap out of him already. It's too soon.
but no, Eli. There's a lot of talk. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he not a Hall of Famer?
Right.
And I tell you, this goes either way. But you know, let's. I want to hear your thoughts on this, Tyler.
Thank you, Eric. Yesterday, I kind of mentioned a few things. The 2 Super Bowls alone made it close. To be top 7 in yards and touchdowns, everyone's going to look at the record and go, that's a black mark, right? Everything's situational. Every number, every situation you could possibly think of in the NFL, it's all based on what the circumstances were of how they got there. So to me, looking at Dan Marino and going in the 80s, he threw for how many yards he threw for, or Brett Favre throwing for that 71,000 yards at the time he did it, to me, is just so much more valuable than what they did. Obviously Brady and Breeze are a class act, so I'm not taking anything away from those two because those two are two of the greatest I've ever seen. Eli Manning's win-loss is a little skewed, and yeah, the record's bad, but having Ben McAdoo and Pat Shurmur as your 2 head coaches for 4 years, they traded Odell, basically saying we don't really care who you throw to. Yes, they got Saquon Barkley, who I think is the best offensive player in football when he's on right. That helps. But the offensive line, I'm not even going to mention the heckler. The heckler's here, Snugs. But anyway, Eli Manning had the worst offensive line in, 4 years straight? So, yeah, I do think Eli got a raw deal. I do think his win-loss record is the one thing people are going to go, was he ever a Tom Brady, a Drew Brees, or even his brother? No, he wasn't Peyton Manning either. But he is good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. And, again, how he beat Tom Brady in those 2 Super Bowls, those 2 huge plays, you have to put him in for that.
I agree.
I don't know. I think that he's top 10 in a lot of categories. Sure, his record is 500, but at the end of the day, he beat arguably the best team in football, twice, best quarterback twice. I think that maybe he won't go in, right away. Won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I think he deserves to be. And I think his credentials are legit.
See, I'm just curious how not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm also on that fence. I think he's a first
How
ballot guy.
not? I mean, if Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame for what? For 1 Super Bowl.
Right.
Then how is Eli Manning not a first ballot Hall of Famer with 2?
I just think that over the years, all the doubts, all the negativity that's, he's mediocre, he's average. I think that just going to be in the voters' minds when they finally make the decision, unfortunately.
Which doesn't make sense, though. I mean, you have, as Tyler kind of touched upon it, too, you have some offensive lineman issues. You have some coaching issues, some GM issues, as does every team. Don't get me wrong. But there's some year. Who did Eli have on those teams surrounding him offensively when he made those magic runs?
Not much.
And vice versa, when there was no runs.
Right.
Who did he have surrounding him?
Yeah, but that defensive line was
superb.
Yeah, unreal.
Absolutely.
And
your offense still has to score points, though.
Yeah, I mean, he did take a beating in that San Fran game, so I'll give him that.
That was insane. And what did he do? He got up every time. Heart of a champion right there.
Now, I'm glad you put that up, too. Everyone talks about, well, you got to be able to play. You got to be able to play. So I am in the minority, and I'm not bringing this up to bring this up because it was a week-long debate, right? I'm in the minority that says Andrew Luck should be in the Hall of Fame. Just if he never touches the ball again, right? Not now. If we're gonna penalize Andrew Luck for not having a long, lengthy career, having 222 consecutive starts, and having a long career like Eli Manning and not missing a game due to injury, that has to have an extra amount of weight to it. You can't.
Iron Man.
Right. Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak is never going to be broken, period. That made Cal Ripken go from top 5 shortstop of all time to, depending on who you are, maybe the greatest shortstop to ever live. Depends on who you saw, who you didn't see, but that added to his mystique even more. I can't penalize Eli Manning for doing that, being sacked that many times. His best season was 17, I think. He had his career high in completions, 4,000 yards, sacked 47 times at like 37 years old, 36 years old. So that's amazing.
Riddle me this. You're talking, if you're a GM and there's 16 seasons out of a quarterback that you draft, you're getting 16 seasons out of one quarterback, right? And I tell you, he's going to lead you to 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
What GM would not take that?
Right, nobody.
Yeah,
Not only that, here's the other question I would ask, right? So you've got 2 other guys in that draft, Big Ben and Rivers, right? And then Eli. And everyone said, Eli this, Eli that. But if you look at it, if you look at those 3, Big Ben's a prima donna and a cancer. I'm not taking Big Ben. And Philip Rivers never won a big game, so I'm not taking him either.
And shouldn't it say enough, though, too, that Eli wanted to come to New York? He wanted to come to the Big Apple,
right.
Be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he made a big deal about it just to come here, so.
And he was.
Yeah.
He didn't just, talk the talk. He walked the walk with it.
He handled everything thrown at him, so.
Right. Like, let's not act like when he was a rookie going into that huddle with Tiki Barber, who's an all-time giant, Michael Strahan on the other side of the football, Jeremy Shockey, who was a little bit of an intimidating dude in his prime, and Amani Toomer, who's another all-time giant in one huddle. A young quarterback going up to that is like, oh, well, Coach Fossil wants a hitch to the right. Throw the damn ball, kid. Sorry, the coach is the coach. What am I supposed to do here?
He did say Fossil, right?
He did.
Okay.
Fossil. I said Fossil.
Not Coughlin, right?
Well, Coughlin came later. Because if you remember...
You're talking about before Eli, then?
Yeah, because Eli, before Coughlin got there, Tiki Barber was like, what do you know? You haven't won anything. Mm-hmm. And everyone now says Tom Coughlin's this great genius, right? But he didn't win anything before Eli got there. He was a nobody. Tiki Barber didn't respect him at all. And the guys around the Giants were kind of like, Tiki Barber divided the locker room in half. Yeah, he's right. You haven't really won anything. And Tiki Barber's one of the greatest running backs the Giants have ever had. So we're going to go with Tiki. Now, Tiki screwed himself because he missed out on a Super Bowl, but whatever. I really think that Eli Manning, being the face of the Giants for the past 15 years, name me a guy that was the face of a franchise not in the Hall of Fame. You can't do it.
Not, especially first ballot. He should be a first ballot.
I don't think it's even close.
No. Now, you keep mentioning Super Bowl.
Yes.
Isn't that coming up?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Not even. In 10 days.
So
Good game.
It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be that good of a game.
So how did we get there? Jordan, you want to tell us about the NFC championship?
You got, you had both the teams. didn't expect either of them to even really, some of them to be there.
So, I mean, were the Packers just flat, or was San Fran just that
well,
good?
I think San Fran's just that good. I think Packers were flat. I thought the defense wasn't good all year. I didn't think they were should even be in that game, to be honest with you.
A 13-3 team.
I think they had some easy games. I think that Rodgers saved them a bunch of times, and again, that defense was ranked, I think, like 24th run defense.
I'm sorry, who saved them a bunch of times?
Rodgers.
Rodgers who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Not Richard Rodgers, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Not Jacquizz Rodgers either, right? We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Correct.
Now,
Jacquizz Rodgers.
it makes sense, though, for San Fran. Now, you look at him last year, Jimmy G going down with the ACL injury, them getting the number 2 pick overall, which, what did they turn that into?
Bosa.
The best player in the draft.
And
Get frapped by the Arizona Cardinals.
And Bosa is such a game changer for that defense because every play, whether it's a run the opposite side of he is, the quarterback's throwing at the opposite side he is, he's chasing them down. 2 yards, 3 yards. So that's what helped them in the game against Seattle. Russell rolling out every time. Bosa's on his tail.
Yeah.
So now you add a different element. Now you have that defense who really comes to play every week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was proof last week. Jimmy G, threw 8 times?
8 times. That's absurd. Their running game just
Mostert or no one a year ago. Now, they're lead back.
Breda.
Matt Breida played maybe 5 snaps of that football game.
That's what I'm saying. Guys are stepping up at the right time. You know, to be honest, when I was convinced that they were probably the best team in the NFL,
When's that?
the game against the Saints.
Yeah, that was a great football game.
That game itself, the will to win at the end, Breeze, gets him down, gets him the lead, and you're like, oh, all right, this is over. No, the fact that Jimmy G, and I think this game is also a case of the best tight ends in the game. But that's a totally different topic and subject moving on. But Kittle,
best tight end in football. Oh, my God.
So San Fran is probably the most complete team, offensively, defensively sound. But there's another team, obviously, that they have to play against.
Yeah,
so
but I think that, sorry to cut you off, I think that it's going to be tough because San Fran has never faced, I think, all year, an offense that has so many weapons. I think it will be tough. I think Kelsey's the best tight end in the game.
Wait, the Patriots aren't in the Super Bowl?
Thank God.
Damn.
I think they have the Giants this week.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I was going to say, Tom Brady not in the Super Bowl just doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right.
But Tyler, he just mentioned the AFC team, Kansas City, going in with all the weaponry and everything. Take us through the championship game and how they got there.
So, the Kansas City Chiefs, after a great season by the Titans, that game, to me, wasn't really – it was just a team, and Speedy P says this all the time. They were just – the flame died out. They were playing too well, too long, and things didn't go right. A lot of people are going to point to Ryan Tannehill and blame him. I can't blame Ryan Tannehill because Ryan Tannehill is the reason they went from out of the playoffs, third in their division, to the AFC Championship game. So I'm not going to blame Ryan Tannehill. Mike Vrabel made some rookie mistakes.
He wasn't that bad, though.
No, he wasn't bad, but he made a few questionable calls. I was like, are you And ultimately, the biggest reason is Derrick Henry was non-effective in that football game. You cannot take away a team's identity for them to succeed. And a huge, you guys should appreciate this.
Huge.
Tip the cap. It's going to be huge. But anyway, it's going to be a tremendous job by Steve Spagnuolo, right? That guy is the one defensive coordinator that stopped Derrick Henry for a year and a half. Amazing job. I said all year I didn't have the Chiefs I didn't even have the Chiefs in the playoffs at the beginning of the year because their defense to me was rubber bands and sticks. I didn't know what I was going to get from it. I liked Frank Clark. I think the Honey Badger is, if Jamal Adams isn't the best safety in football, it's him. That's how I feel about the Honey Badger. I didn't know what I was going to get out of the linebackers. I didn't know what I was going to get out of the corners. Spagnuolo made them all work. It was those two, it was like the Giants of old again in Kansas City, which to me is interesting in itself because you're really looking at a lot of similarities in this football game, but to me there's a huge difference. One team will be able to do all facets, and one team's going to put the ball in their quarterback's hands and say, "Okay, go get us this W now."
Now, what happened the last time Spagnuolo was in the Super Bowl?
The team that he was on won.
I'm just saying.
Now that's fine and
That could
all,
be a
but what's
factor.
happened the last time Andy Reid was in the Super Bowl?
Absolutely too.
So but again, Kyle Shanahan has a bad Super Bowl resume on his performance too. So
Don't still go there.
no, but 28-3 is bad. It's not. It's not exactly all his fault, but he's got to own a little bit of
I
that,
mean, it's probably one of the worst losses in Super Bowl. So
or the greatest performance by the GOAT you've ever seen.
yeah.
So
But
calm down.
Doesn't that bring in such an
Or the
interesting
worst collapse by a
perspective?
defense.
Stop.
So
No, that was the Oilers.
both head coaches have experience in the Super Bowl, though.
Yes.
So sometimes that's a factor itself too. You know, one over coaches,
Right.
maybe over prepares, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have guys who've been there before. So does that factor get taken away?
No, I don't, because I know who said San Francisco's most complete team? Was it Eric or Jordan? Who said that? One
I'll
of you
admit
two
it.
said it. That couldn't be more true. There's no weakness in this football team. John Lynch knows how to win. John Lynch built a team. And this just goes to show, I know everyone's excited about, offense. San Francisco and Kansas City, they win the fight in the trenches. They move the football. And their head coach, they're innovative play callers. Kyle Shanahan is what Sean McVay was supposed to be. That's Kyle Shanahan. Jet fans will appreciate this. Kyle Shanahan is what you thought you were getting at Adam Gase. Sorry it didn't pan out that way so far, but Kyle Shanahan's the real deal. And quite frankly, Speedy can attest to this because I don't want you guys to think I'm blowing smoke. I said San Francisco would either double or triple their win total this year. Jimmy Garoppolo is not this game manager. The fact that people think he's a game manager to me is quite concerning. Like, go watch this guy play. He's not a game manager. He can make any throw Pat Mahomes can make. He's just not asked to.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, he absolutely can. Hold on. I'm not talking about the once-in-a-lifetime scrambling at the left hash and throw it 45 yards the other way. Jimmy Garoppolo in the pocket can throw the ball just as far as Pat Mahomes can.
I'm not talking about farm types of throws, types of routes. Patrick Mahomes has a much wider range.
That's
of
fine.
throws.
But guess what Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have to worry about? Doing all those crazy things. He's going to have time in the pocket. He's going to be able to pick apart his team like, I don't know, a guy in New England does. What's his name? No, not Drew Bledsoe. Who replaced Bledsoe in that game? Oh, Tom Brady. That's right. So you've got a guy who's already won 2 Super Bowls. He's got 2 rings already. He knows the preparation. I don't care if he played or not. Bill Belichick had Jimmy Garoppolo just as in tune as Tom Brady did. Jimmy Garoppolo right now, I guarantee you, is more in sync than Pat Mahomes. Just putting it out there. Pat Mahomes he's a 28-year-old absolute genius.
28-year-old stud?
Stud. Stud.
Now, before we get too deep into this whole Super Bowl madness and everything,
Right.
we still have another show next week before the Super Bowl,
That you may or may not be here for.
which I think that's when we go over our actual take and what's going on with it. So make sure you tune in next week as well. Just saying. So we talk Hall of Fame in the NFL. And I think the Hall of Fame just announced who's in as well with baseball. I'm sure it's no surprise anymore. Jeter got in. Larry Walker's in.
Shouldn't have been, but
Now,
Whoa, what?
yeah.
why is that?
I think his
You're nuts.
his home and away stats are crazy. Obviously at Colorado, he's gonna hit the ball at the park. I thought they kind of felt bad after him being on the ballot for 10 years. They gave him the pity vote.
So 7 Gold Gloves and playing in Montreal and all that, what meant what?
That was fine, but I don't think his stats were. If they thought that he should have been Hall of Fame, he would have been Hall of Fame maybe 5 years ago at the very least. I think 10 years came. The 10th year came, and they decided, hey, let's pit. I feel bad for this guy. You know, he's a good guy. He didn't take steroids. He didn't cause any problems. So hey, let's put him in. They gave him the little extra votes that he got.
So Barry Bonds didn't deserve to get in the Hall of Fame?
I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame.
But why?
I think that his stats speak for themselves. Sure, he took
So does
steroids.
Larry Walker's.
I still think that if they thought that he was a Hall of Famer, that he should have been in a few years ago. I think that being at Colorado, up to his average, up to his home runs, sure, he has the Gold Gloves. That's great. But I think that he was on the border and that he shouldn't have got the vote.
Real quick point. So you think a home field advantage is worse than a steroid case?
I don't think it's worse, but I think if you take consideration, I mean, a lot of players, they feed on that Colorado Park. So,
I mean, that's fine. Then everybody in the National League West isn't allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, and anyone that plays in Colorado more than 8 games a year shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame either.
they play 80-something games. They're not play. Not everyone.
Right?
In the West
No,
plays
I
it all
understand
year
that, but
round.
I mean, Yankee Stadium is also a bandbox, so that means guys like Matt Sue's not in the Hall of Fame anyway. Let's take it. Giambi's not going to get in because of steroids. So that means a guy like Derek Todd Helton should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame.
Larry Walker should not be.
No, I agree. I don't
Larry
think.
Walker should not be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think Larry Walker.
383 home runs should not be in the Hall of Fame.
Why don't you sit here then and talk?
Like I said, he
2,100 hits.
he got the pity vote. That's what I think happened.
So after 10 years,
But
you
his
said,
average
all right,
was 313. That's not
took 10
scrub.
But it took 10 years to get in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame. He should.
Agree. His
But he
Schilling's,
pitched in Arizona.
Schilling's ERA is 2.22 in the playoffs.
Arizona's a neutral park. It fluctuates with the retractable roof.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Now does personalities come into play? Because Jeter was obviously the shoe-in, as we thought.
Right.
And we'll get into more details on that coming up. But with Walker, was he a nice enough guy? Was he off the field just as good as he was on the field?
That's what I think it is. I think that.
Because you mentioned Schilling.
Yeah.
Schilling,
I think that they they'll, for example, they didn't vote for Larry Walker the first year. We'll see in a couple of years. I think it's a poor way of how they vote. I think it's not the greatest, system to vote on each player.
And I think we kind of see that with the entire system itself, with Jeter, who, correct me if I'm wrong, should have been
Unanimous?
the second unanimous
Yeah,
player.
totally agree.
And
Yeah.
probably
Without question.
the only one for quite some time. Because if Trout continues his
Trout
if
will be
continues his trend obviously
Yeah.
this way, I think he should be the third and possible final one for quite some time as well.
I think
There's
that,
one more guy that's going to be unanimous.
I think that they just.
Albert Pujols is going to be unanimous.
I think that they just. The guy whoever didn't vote for him, just wanted to make a name for himself and be interviewed and all that. I think that was a little ridiculous.
It just does not make sense.
It does not make sense. But what I promise we do on the show is we make sense out of everything. So what we're going to do, because I hear Speedy over there sweating to death, is we are going to take this quick break. And when we come back, we will get more in depth with this conversation because I like where this is going. And we'll find out how much sense we can make of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame because Larry Walker should have walked into the Hall of Fame. Walked into it. So when we come back, more Major League Baseball Hall of Fame talk.
Because he's a walker.
Yeah. He walked all through Colorado. Next on the home stretch.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
I manage a baseball team.
Little League?
Fantasy League.
We are back with the home stretch on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back to the home stretch. I'm Tyler Harrison along with Eric and Jordan. So, again, Eric, you were saying something before we went to break?
I was saying that if you do want to call in, 845-478-3272. Get those calls in. We'd like to talk to you as well and see what's going on.
And we have one right now.
Oh, who's on the phone?
Your favorite.
Snugs!
Oh, my goodness. What's good, gentlemen? How are you this evening?
Snugs,
How's it going?
say hello to my new left-hand men.
Hello, left-hand men. How
What's
does
going
this
on?
find you?
How's it going?
I wasn't. Are we allowed to make fun of them yet, Tyler? Or are we still nice to them?
I take it easy on them the first couple of minutes.
All right.
I don't want them to think we're
Just go
jerks.
for it. I'm
It's all
ready.
fair game.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I also want to say hashtag heckle to heckler. I love it when he yells across the room. That's always my favorite. You know that.
I can't believe that he told me to look up somebody who's a Hall of Famer, and Larry Walker has better numbers than almost everything.
Well, this is what I would say is that you, as usual, are correct that Larry Walker does belong in the Hall of Fame. And here's my argument. Does Jim Thome belong in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Jim Thome's WAR is 72.9, 22 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Walker's WAR, 72.7,
74.5.
17 seasons.
Oh, the peak war. My bad.
Who was more valuable to their team?
100%.
Now, Snugs, what do you say to Jordan, who says it was a bandbox in Coors Field and that escalated his stats?
Yeah, guess what? There's a bunch of bandboxes out there. That's the new thing in baseball, right? Cincinnati's got a bandbox, New York's got a bandbox, and the list goes on and on. So, yeah, but, I mean, are you going to start pulling everyone's stats out? I mean, maybe they could just delete all stats recorded in Colorado and just, say that those guys are not welcome to join the Hall of Fame. You get way too limited. But my favorite stat was this. Derek Jeter's WAR was only 72.4. So, now, granted, Derek Jeter had some intangibles that I don't think Larry Walker possessed and he didn't drive his team in exactly the same way, obviously. But we all agree that he's a Hall of Famer, and Larry Walker's WAR is still higher than that. So I think you're correct that Larry Walker should have been in the Hall of Fame much sooner. It was a bit of a travesty that it took this long to get him in. But eventually the voters did get it right.
I do agree he shouldn't have gone in first ballot, but eventually he should have gotten it.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's a first ballot guy. He's not getting 98% or anything crazy like that. But they got it right. He is a Hall of Famer. And yes, there's always going to be the asterisk to Colorado. But, I mean, when they built the stadium and brought the franchise in, everyone knew that some of this was going to happen. So there's other guys that have enjoyed, to your point, inflated statistics from visiting Coors Field more frequently. And it's just going to happen. So we deal with that and move on. I mean, there's no asterisks in the Hall of Fame.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that, too, because we're seeing that right now. You had DJ LeMahieu win a batting championship in the NL. Okay, yeah, he played most of his games at Coors Field itself, but what was his average last year? Is it just because he's not a natural hitter? No, there's guys who are just natural hitters in that case. The fact that they play most of their games in Coors Field can't be the ultimate factor of the Hall, I think. I mean, Walker, 7 Gold Gloves, batting titles. Is that not complete offensively and defensively?
I just think that it took way too long. I just think that at the end of the day they gave a pity vote. My whole problem is also with the system and how they vote. I think it's a little poor.
We agree on that.
The war, you could bring that up, but when he was playing, there was no war. So I don't want to hear it now. You know what I mean?
They got
They're
it right. They're
being voted in now, and they have these numbers available. They can use them. Value to your team still existed. They just didn't know how to calculate it.
Right. It's an arithmetic. It's not like they're just making it up case by case. Like, his WAR, he's a better player than him, so his WAR has to be higher than him. They put all the numbers in, and it's as if they played when the WAR was a stat. It's not like they're making it up.
And I said this yesterday, too, for Larry Walker. Look at the Rockies as a franchise. They were an expansion franchise that didn't have much else. So he was still putting up great numbers without much talent around him. Yeah, the park plays into it. We know. I say that all the time with the Rockies. That's why they aren't very well run, and they haven't been able to keep a lot of their pitchers and stuff like that. And some of their players are inflated, the splits. But at that time, they didn't have much because they were an expansion team, so they couldn't poach away all this talent. They got Larry Walker. It was the first of it. Todd Helton came later, and since then they've been able to build good offensive talent. Some of it's the park, some of it's just the way they build talent, and Larry Walker was one of those guys. Right.
Now, and it's funny because you mentioned you can't use WAR back then and everything. You know what? The seasons change, the eras change. It's more analytical now. Mm-hmm. It's more technology-driven.
Very analytical.
As we know.
Yeah, we know it's technology-driven.
It's very technology-driven. And if you're not sure about why, just ask the Astros, ask the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. That's something too. Or
cheaters.
I'm sure they threw out a lot of the technology to hide the evidence in the trash cans they were banging to give signals.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. Maybe Mike Fiers.
No.
Carlos Beltran, maybe.
Beltran. So that's another thing that I think we should touch on as well. I mean,
The Mets?
just dissecting it all of banging on the trash cans, the buzzer theory.
Oh, I don't think it's a theory. I think they.
I think
that's
it's legit.
That's going to be
you know,
very legit because that's another way to give a signal.
I think there was a pretty. They should have had some sort of penalty for the players. I think it was a coward.
I think they will at some point. I think they're just looking for more evidence.
Well, here's the slippery slope that baseball's trying to navigate as well. So you have the players who obviously have the most information about it because they're the ones that are basically doing it.
Sure.
Right? If all of a sudden I'm coming after you and say, all right, what did you guys do? You're going to be mum. You're not going to say anything. You're going to be all quiet. Say, all right, you have immunity. Oh, you're not going to be in trouble. It's like when you have a child, for instance,
Right.
and they do something wrong.
Yeah, I got tricked.
And you want to know what the truth actually is, and you're kind of like, don't worry, I won't be mad.
Right, you tricked the
I
crap
won't-
out of them.
You're not going to be in trouble. And then they kind of, oh, okay, well, in that case, and they blurt out everything that they've done. But except the parent kind of goes back and is kind of like, well, you still got to be reprimanded for your actions.
Right.
Baseball, now granted, with all that happening, if Mike Fiers doesn't come out and say it at all, are we even talking about this? Are we hearing about it? Baseball needed someone to put a face with what exactly happened.
I don't think that you're talking about to this extent. Obviously, I think that you would still have you have the Yankees complaint of whistling or other players complaining of certain things. I just don't think you would be talking about this extent and having all these issues.
But then that becomes hearsay. All right, that's what. Oh, Yankees were cheating with this video. Boston was cheating with that video. Houston was cheating with that video. But until someone came out and said it
Right.
and showed the proof, baseball had no choice.
Yes.
And the
But
Red
to
Sox
investigate
could be, and the
everything.
Red Sox could be caught harsher just because replay room, there's a lot more technology available.
Exactly. And you know what? A lot of times, where there's smoke.
There's fire.
So, and we're kind of seeing that firsthand. I mean, I'm sure by now everyone's seen the video of Robinson Chirino's piece of the bat falling off or whatever the material is that falls off the bat. And he's real quick to pick that up and put it in his back pocket.
Right.
But think about it. What is on a wooden bat besides maybe tape?
Pine tar.
What else is on there that could fly off like that?
Nothing.
I mean, there's
And
no
what
there's no
could it be
sticker
that you want to keep in your back pocket?
right. Is it a sticker that says MLB approved?
Right.
I
The weight of the bat.
Obviously everyone sees a video that's out there about Jose Altuve that you see he's running, he hits a home run the first plate. He says, "Don't throw the water at me." Goes to the dugout.
don't rip my shirt.
Changes.
No, what
changes
he's saying
his
is don't rip my jersey, because then it comes out, and then Major League Baseball is going to go over and be like, oh, what is this?
And as soon as he crosses the plate, he goes inside the tunnel and changes his outfit.
Right.
But you know what? It's not gonna happen. The whole investigation like that, because guess what? There's no one to say, "Oh yeah, that's what they did. I saw this. I know that." There's no whistleblower on it. And if there's, guess what? MLB's not going to investigate deeper into it that way,
Right.
Because
There's no
because
reason for it.
Twitterverse or whoever says to, there's not going to be a reason to, until someone comes out and says, "This is what they did. I saw it."
Right.
Now, who knows? Maybe this is part of the investigation that we see in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think that's going to be kind of different, we'll say, because of the video room and everything else. But
Yeah. It's gonna be worse.
without someone coming out and saying it's because this is why this is happening. And what the craziest part to me is how you can protect out of the entire league now. You're protecting the cheaters.
Yes.
And everyone else who didn't cheat, basically, or didn't get caught cheating, we'll say, are fired up about it. So you're protecting the cheaters more so than you are the integrity of the game.
Well, they feel they were robbed.
And you exactly. So why protect one set of players and not all of them?
That's something Major League Baseball is going to have to tell you. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell if it was you or Speedy. But obviously you guys might not have heard my take on it. I think the suspension to A.J. Hinch and the GM, are
Jeff Luhnow.
Jeff Luhnow, thank you, Speedy. I never remember the guy's name. And the $5 million fine and draft picks in baseball, let's just be honest, they're crapshoots, okay? Most first-round draft picks don't make the majors. There was no punishment. $5 million on top of a salary cap, okay, whatever. We won a World Series.
But that's the max that they could be fined.
Well, no, it's not even the amount. It's the fact that this is worse to me than what Pete Rose did. This is worse to me than the steroids. And this is worse to me than the Black Sox did. Because now it's cheating in broad daylight. The Black Sox didn't cheat. They just got paid off to lose. So now it's like, all right, you can't bet on baseball, which is fine. I understand where you're going with that. Steroids, as exciting as the game was, I understand why you want the purity. Which is why, if you think Mike Trout's on HGH, just don't even bother talking to me. But to lay out a penalty as weak as that, to me means we know what's going on. They got caught. We really can't suspend the World Series champions. Not only did we catch them, they told us. You got to be kidding me.
And you know what's funny about that, too, that you just mentioned as well, is you mentioned the steroid era and everyone bat an eye. How dare them?
Right.
How dare them?
Yes.
But you have current players tweeting out about, I would much rather them have steroids than know what pitch I'm throwing.
Right.
So you're talking about severity.
I think it's a joke that Pete Rose got a lifetime ban and these players got nothing. And it's like you said, the penalty is just too weak.
I think they could be, though, again, once they find more evidence on which specific players.
But hold on. You can't do that because now you gave them immunity. You can't go back on that now because players are going to go, I ain't telling you nothing either. Why? Here's what's going to happen on opening day. You want to know what's going to happen? Whoever that pitcher is going to beam their first fastball at Jose Altuve's dome piece. That's what's going to happen on opening day for Jose Altuve.
Well, it reminds me. You remember when A-Rod got caught with the whole steroid and he finally comes back?
And they never came out with any tests or anything?
Yeah. And then he goes into Boston. And who's thrown behind him? Ryan Dempster.
Right.
And then finally he gets hit with it.
Sure.
You know, Girardi goes on the whole tirade and gets thrown out and everything. Is that what we're going to be seeing a lot with the Astros
Oh,
this
yeah.
year?
They're going to get in 10, 15
be a lot of the Ryan
fights.
Dempsters?
I think so. I really do.
I would. I absolutely would. And I tell you this right now, they're lucky CeCe retired. Otherwise, he would too.
Oh, CeCe is beyond frustrated, we'll say.
I mean, and guys like CeCe are, to me, why this is a bigger crime. CeCe wins another World Series. His Hall of Fame case is now kind of borderline. If he gets another World Series ring, he's not borderline. He's in. He's in the Hall of Fame. And not even that, only for your own piece. He stayed on for 2 extra years to win that World Series and basically should have got it. And here's why I'm extra bad, right? Speed's going to laugh. But if the Yankees win that World Series, the Yankees win the World Series in 2017, right? I don't care what anyone tells me. The probability of Joe Girardi coming back as manager is at least tripled. Brian Cashman's not going to kick out a World Series winning manager who is
a two-time
World Series manager, manager of the year with the Miami Marlins or Florida Marlins at that point in time with us in the lineup, is not somebody that you're just going to replace with ease. So not only did we not get a World Series, we didn't get Joe Girardi, and now we're stuck with Aaron Boone. That, to me, is all the reason in the world to be upset with Major League Baseball.
Wait, this is just taking a turn. You're not happy with Boone as a manager?
I'm not happy. It's not that I'm not happy. I think he's a great player coach, and the players. I've actually talked to Gary Sheffield's son about this. It's not that he doesn't have a pulse on the game, and you can tell when a player's getting whacked or he's getting hit, he takes him out. If a player's getting kind of, he's in jams, but he's getting out of them, he'll take him out and panic. He brings in the same guy out of the bullpen every single time in the same situation.
So you're saying if, for instance, if he could tell his batters or his hitters and players are getting frustrated with maybe some strike calls, he's not going and laying one into an umpire He's
No,
not,
not
he's
that.
Not, he's
I
not
think
rounding his team
he's
up.
not. No, he's definitely not the fiery guy Girardi is.
He's not, going on a whole tirade of savages in the box.
No, he definitely did that. He did that. No.
All right,
I get where you're going.
You're kind of tight walking this now.
No, I'm. Oh, I don't tight walk, good sir. I know we're new here, but I don't tight walk nowhere. Snugs, help! I've been shot.
I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness!
Was that not a little tight walk on that?
So
on
I
that
mean,
on that note,
managed-
gentlemen, I do have to take my leave. I've got a cupcake vendor lined up ahead of me. So anyway, I will leave the Yankees talk politely and just celebrate the 2018 World Series championship by your Red
you're
Sox.
about to lose. Yeah, that's about to get ripped right out of your heart, my friend.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
That's
Appreciate
not
it.
going anywhere,
Have a good
my
night.
friend. MLB's already said it's staying.
Well, that's wrong too. But
Appreciate it.
have a
Thanks.
good day, Snugs.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure.
Take
Have
care.
a good evening.
I
Tight
mean,
walk.
Aaron Boone
Tight walk.
managed that team with all those injuries.
Oh, here we go with the injuries.
I mean,
That's fine.
I'm not even a Yankee fan. I think he did a great job.
Now, as a Mets fan, you said you were before, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let me lay this into you because you're not really familiar with getting good talent. Okay. The general manager. No. I tell Speedy the same thing. It's not a shot at him. It's a shot at all Met fans because when you were in the World Series that 1 year, we're the team in New York. Okay, well, calm down. Anyway, when you saw Miguel Andujar go down, did anyone tell you Gio Urshela is going to step in and be an all-star third baseman? No one on the planet was going to tell you that, and Aaron Boone probably would have told you that. That team, as much as I think he's overrated, Brian Cashman deserves all the credit for that team last year. Aaron Boone didn't go out and get Mike Tauchman. Aaron Boone didn't get Urshela. Aaron Boone did not bring up Luke Voigt and be like, oh, yeah, this is the guy of the future right here.
Who gets him prepared then?
Not Aaron Boone. Do you not remember Luis Severino going out at 7:30 to warm up for an 8:15 start?
Who gets him prepared?
The players.
What's
The
the
players
what's the manager's job?
The manager's job in Major League Baseball, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, because as you guys alluded to earlier, it's all stats. It's the machine says this guy hits best in this situation against this guy. There's a bunch of numbers that the machine's giving them. And to be quite honest with you, you'll appreciate this. Brody Van Wagenen did not hire Joe Girardi for what reason? Brody Van Wagenen wants to control the team. He wants to produce the lineups. He wants to be the manager in the box. He's an idiot, but that's fine.
So Beltran would have let him do that?
I think Beltran would have let him do that. I think Beltran.
He wanted a puppet. I mean,
Right.
I wanted Joe Girardi. I think it was a huge mistake, obviously, at this
Well,
point.
we're getting into that later with the Rojas thing, and I agree with you. Joe Girardi would have been perfect for the Mets, but especially now with Betances there. But to me, there's a reason why a guy like Aaron Judge went from an MVP calendar year with Joe Girardi to not being able to play 100 games since with Aaron Boone. I think there's a reason for that. Now, you can blame they fired the health trainer or whatever else, so we'll see how that goes.
You're
But-
blaming Aaron Judge's injury on Aaron Boone.
No.
I want to make sure I'm getting this.
No, I'm blaming the fact that Aaron Boone in big moments has been outmanaged. Now, again, Alex Cora, we're going to let slide because he's a cheater.
He blamed
But-
one of Aroldis Chapman's injuries on Aaron Boone, too.
Yeah. Him without question. Severino went from 2.7 ERA to a 7 in the second half of the season. That to me means either his shoulder's hurt, it's tired, or you know what, this guy's just off. Let me, do something to get him out. Went out every fifth day, no matter who it was, and just kind of, you know what, he's fine. Oh, he's half hour late for warm-up. He's fine. You ready to go? Okay, he's fine. Oh, he's getting killed. Okay, time to go.
So what's the training staff for then?
The training staff has to have some sort of rapport with the manager.
What's the
training
training
staff
conditioning
can't-
coach? What's his job?
That's fine. No, I get there's more blame to go around than just Aaron Boone. I'm not saying Aaron Boone takes the whole piece of the pie. But Aaron Boone at some point in time has to kind of look. Stanton missed a whole year last year, right? Or Sanchez. Well, let's go with Sanchez. Stanton missed with one injury. Sanchez has been dealing with the same type of injuries now for 2 to 3 years. And for somehow, Girardi's there, and he's not missing much time. he had that one injury and then he came back and he was fine. But with Boone, it's like he comes in, he goes out, he comes back, he goes back out. Gary Sanchez, there's no Romine now. You don't have a great backup to fall on. It's Sanchez or Kyle Hishioka. I don't know about you. Ishioka is not going to be Austin Romine. The man cannot call a game like Romine, and this to me is really the thing. A catcher has to know all facets of the game. You know the pitching staff because you're calling the game behind the plate. You know hitters because you got to go up there and hit. You know defense because you're seeing the whole field from behind the plate. A catcher to me, just by theory, is the best possible manager. You know all facets of the game, and the manager is supposed to know early on in the baseball game, okay, my guy doesn't have it tonight. I got to monitor this closely. A catcher picks that up. Aaron Boone, a third baseman, who, let's just be honest, got, into the majors because his brother at the time was an all-star second baseman. Brett Boone was a tremendous second baseman. Go look him up.
Maybe his dad has something to do with it, Yeah. But let's just blame the brother.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not blaming the brother. I'm praising the brother. His dad's pretty famous too. But anyway.
But
I'm in the minority. I might actually be the only one.
I understand what you're saying, but it's a manager's job to know his players, is what you're getting at.
Yes.
Rightfully so.
And I don't think he does that.
But I think he does that better than anybody.
You think so?
So
Aaron Judge going 0 for August meant what?
So why is a guy like Mike Ford prepared? Why is a guy...
Mike Ford wasn't prepared.
Mike Ford was prepared.
Are you going to be the same guy that tells me you'd rather have Mike Ford on the playoff roster than Stanton?
No.
Okay.
No. But,
okay. Because I've heard that too.
But
just want to make sure you weren't about to Anthony Carragher me.
But he was prepared when he got his shot. He was prepared. Urshela, he was prepared. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it that not necessarily is the manager's job, but maybe the player's job. All right, yeah, I feel something in my shoulder.
Right.
They have to mention it as well. Okay?
But mention it to who? You mentioned it before. The strength conditioning coach is probably going to be the first one he mentions it to.
You mentioned the manager, whoever. You're gonna go into the manager's office and tell the manager it. Now,
no. That's where I'm going to disagree with you hard on that one. If a player wants to play, you're not telling me Derek Jeter is going to go in there and be like, Aaron, I just don't fit. My ankle's a little sore today. I don't think I can play. That's not happening.
That's where the game is changing to, though. To a point, that's where the game is changing to. And you know what? Mets had the perfect case in point with it last year.
Oh, yo-yos. Yo-yo's a yo-yo, all right.
Not even. You had. Remember the time where Cano didn't run it out?
Right.
He got a little talking to, basically. He ran it out, and what happened right after that?
Tore his hamstring.
Boom. Injury.
Same thing with Sanchez. People are like, why didn't you run? He ran the next at bat, and he popped his groin or whatever it was.
But that's the thing. It's going to happen. Injury is a part of the... It's going to happen.
Sure.
You can't blame a manager for injuries.
I'm not blaming the manager for injuries. I'm just saying that he doesn't deserve credit for the amazing work of Urshela and Talkman, and you said Ford. I wasn't impressed with Ford, but that's fine.
Team effort.
It was a team.
From upper management to management itself.
I don't know if you guys remember Frank Catalanato, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Frank Catalanato was a guest on this show once, and he was praising A-Rod because A-Rod will tell you it's not the 25-man roster that gets you the World Series. It's the 40-man roster. You need 40 capable guys at any time to go out there and win a baseball game. The Astros don't know that because they're about 12 deep. But they cheat.
Plus cans.
Plus cans and reporters and
buzzers,
center
guys,
field wall.
microphones.
Now, we kind of touched upon it a little bit. You talked about Rojas. Now, Rojas is in that same situation, for instance. Say Cano doesn't run, and now Rojas is saying you need to hustle everything out. And the same thing happens again. Are we going to blame Rojas for his management?
You can't. You can't blame him.
Well,
but why not?
Because it's the player's job to know whether he's feeling a certain way. The manager's not going to know if he's
right.
If his shoulder's hurt, so that's not on the manager.
I'm not blaming, and I think there's a little bit lost in translation here. I'm not blaming Aaron Boone for the injuries. I'm just saying he cannot take credit for the success of last year. But there are also injuries that Aroldis Chapman, for example, Speedy brought up. it was well documented that he wasn't feeling right and his knee was a little sore. Aroldis Chapman can throw 105 routinely. Okay? Aroldis Chapman is somebody that relies very heavily on his body torque. What part of your body produces the torque?
Legs.
Core.
Torso.
So when he plants his right knee repeatedly with that much torque, you're either going to strain your knee out more or you're going to put an emphasis on something else. And what happened? He hurt his arm. To me, that's worse than blowing out your knee as a pitcher because now your strength of 105 miles an hour has been dimmed a little bit. Now, Chapman's one of the greatest closers in baseball. I'm not worried about Chapman at all. And don't take this as me bashing Aroldis Chapman. I just saw a photo of him. His arms are the size of this table.
Oh, I saw that photo.
He's beyond yoked isn't the word. He's chapped. That's what I'm going to call him now. That man is an intimidating man. He's almost 7 feet tall.
All right, so we know your Aaron Boone take.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, I get it.
Now
I'm coming around to him though.
Now
I'm trying.
Obviously, there's another new manager in New York.
Joe Judge
with the Mets.
Yeah. Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Rojas, Jordan, what's your take on it? Is it good that they went internal? Is it what?
I think it's good they went internal. I mean, a lot of the players are saying they get along with him. He was a really good bench coach last year. He also has experience being a manager in the minor leagues. So I like that as a plus. Carlos Beltran, as you know, I said I wanted Joe Girardi. Carlos Beltran was okay, but he had no experience. As long as the players get along with him, and I think he's going to be able to manage well because he has in the past through all their affiliates, I think it's going to be a success.
I mean, you have a guy, like you just said, managerial experience within the organization.
And not to mention his family.
And within the organization. Couldn't it be argued that this should have been the hire from the get-go?
Right, of course.
It should have been. Rojas should have been the manager from the get-go.
I mean, he's been in the organization for so many years. You build a relationship with all the young players, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil. I think it'll be a success.
It makes sense that they went that direction. If they weren't going with the whole Buck, if they weren't going with the Dusty Baker, if they weren't going with the Gibbons, if they weren't going with the experience of outside Major League Baseball itself.
Well, again, to Tyler's point, they were never going to go with a Buck Showalter because he wants a puppet. So
well, that's exactly
right.
it.
Buck Showalter would have been the perfect hire for this.
So now you kind of have the best of both worlds, though, with Rojas in that case, no?
Sure, of course. I think he's going to, demand the room really well. I think he's going to get along with Brody. Obviously, they know each other for quite some time. And, I like the team. I like the team a lot. I think they've helped the bullpen a lot. They got rid of Zach Wheeler, which is okay. I didn't think he was worth that much money, but it's a different story. And I think that, you signed two, Rick Porcello and Waka. I think that's two great additions. Either one goes to the bullpen or, at some point you have a fifth, sixth rotation.
I think we got a lot more Mets talk coming up a little bit. But Tyler, what's the phone number?
845-478-3272. I'm sure that we can get Jordan and Eric some, warm-ups. Let's see what I did. Warm-ups. Batting practice. Spring training's around the corner.
You hear that? It sounds like a commercial. It sounds like a commercial. You hear that?
I just hear you telling me to go to commercial. Yeah, Speedy's asleep. Speedy, are you alive?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, he said maybe, so that's good enough. So when we come back, I'm assuming Mets. My entire
You know
team.
what? You're going to have to tune in to say. Keep it locked. The home stretch, 845-478-3272. Back after this.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And manage the baseball team.
Little League.
Fantasy League.
We are back with the home stretch on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Not too shabby, huh?
There it is. There we go. Thank you very much, Speedy.
So We apologize in advance for any technical difficulties.
Yeah, yes.
But let's enjoy the ride of it, though.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
this is exciting. Jordan's first time over there. Oh, no. Oh, God.
So anyway,
Welcome to the home stretch, Beef. Hello?
Turn it on. Click it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello?
Hey, Beef.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Hey, how are you? What's going on?
What do you got for us?
My question to you, are you worried about this injury that the Rangers had with Panarin?
Have they announced what it is yet?
They said it's an upper body issue, but that's all they said.
No, I'm not worried about it at all because honestly, this is going to help them going forward with what they should do in the first place. You're not that far away. You don't need Panarin to kind of scuffle things. If you keep Panarin, there's going to be a lot of people going, you know what, the New York Rangers should probably go out there and get a couple defensemen or defensemen, depending on who's available, and really make that thing go. I don't want that. I want them to kind of sell things. I want Gergachev gone. I want Kreider gone. Depending on what you could get for a guy like Ryan Strome, he can go too. But the Panarin injury helps, I think. I don't think it's actually a bad thing. I think it's a good thing.
Well, that's the thing, too.
Go ahead.
They're only a couple points out from playoffs. However, the Rangers make the playoffs, right?
Right.
Now, it's going to be an early exit. Now you're going to waste all the returns that you can get for Kreider, Ford,
Ryan Strome, I would look at.
For any, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I think it actually, I hate to say helps to a point.
Right.
Because no injury or anything like that should ever help. But I think it helps with the direction of the team itself. You know, just kind of, with Panarin out, they might lose a couple more games now.
Right.
Don't get,
Well, they're at their All-Star break, so he's going to have a long rest to heal. So I just don't know what kind of injury it is. Because the Rangers, when they announce injuries on players, they never go into full detail on what it is with any of their players. For some reason, I don't know why, they never explain what the injury is. They just say it's an upper or lower. They never give a full detail of what the injury is.
Right, and sometimes that's strategic. You know, it's one of those. Sometimes they don't know fully. You know, they're still waiting on whatever else. You know, but at the same time, if the team does well and he's needed and he's healthy, yeah, he might come back a lot sooner. If the team is continuing the trend out as it's trending itself, who knows? They hold him out even longer. You let him rest up and, continue when the fight is good.
Yeah, but to me, I mean, if they keep losing, then you're going to get a better draft pick, obviously, which is also going to help.
That's exactly it, and that even more reason to rest him.
But again, they're only maybe two pieces away from being a real, maybe a Stanley Cup contender.
Right, but I don't know. You tell me. Do you think that's how they become this year, though? By making the trades, are they?
This is what the Rangers should do because it would help out the cap situation so much. Just force Lundqvist to trade. You got to force this guy to get out of New York. He's done.
Oh, stop.
No,
he's done.
That's a valid point.
He's making too much money. You have to get
But
rid
whose
of that.
fault is that?
That's the Rangers' fault. That's whoever gave him that contract, whatever GM before Davidson got in there.
Well, I hate to tell you this. He's not going anywhere, and let him retire a Ranger. Honestly, at this point, Henrik Lundqvist kind of deserves to call his own shot, no?
I mean, he didn't win us anything. I mean, he got us there, but he didn't win.
Damn it.
Now, I was going to say, does I don't want to say ego, but does the mentality ever come into play of, all right, I'm a backup goalie now? Do you want to continue as a backup goalie? That's
not his mentality, no.
Right. Is he okay with being a backup?
No, he's not. He wants to go to the He wants to. I guarantee you, when he's done with the Rangers, he's going to go play somebody else.
But that's what I'm saying. If he's the backup now in New York, if he's the backup goalie for the Rangers, isn't that going to force his hand?
Is he honestly the backup? Let's
Yeah, but
discuss who
but
the
here's
real
the thing right
backup
now.
is, though. I don't know. Right now, he's not playing because the Rangers want him fully healthy for later in the season in case they do have this
Well,
playoff run.
That's one, and they also want to get up on Georgiev's trade value. They want to, they want him to win games so they can trade him, get a better player for him.
Yeah, absolutely, but let's just be honest here. Has Gergiev playing more helped him or hurt him? It's hurt him.
Hurt Georgiev? No, actually, he was really good against the Islanders. Those 2 games besides the last one.
Yeah, besides the last one. But his GAA is over 3. His save percentage is around where Lundqvist is. Shesterkin, we know, is the man, and that's fine. I'm glad we know that.
Well, he's going to be the starter next year. So no matter what.
Sure, absolutely, but you don't need 2 young goalies like that. So Gergiev is gone to me, and honestly, I would keep Lundqvist. Shesterkin's going to have a bump in the road. All goalies have a bump in the road.
Of course they do.
So to have Lundqvist there to mentor him and be like, hey, listen, kid, this is okay. Just this is how you pick yourself up. You get back on the horse, and this is how you're the goalie for the New York Rangers. Okay, you know what? Thanks, Henrik, for having me. You trade that experience away. What's he? Hey, have you had the? No, I haven't had this problem. Oh, well, all right.
What's the biggest problem for the Rangers right now?
The fact that the goalie stands on their head 9 out of 10 nights.
No, what's the biggest problem?
Lack of defensemen.
There you go.
Right. That means the goalie stands on their head 9 out of 10 nights.
Yeah, so they need defensemen. Now,
Yes.
they have a guy in Tony DeAngelo, but he's more of an offensive defenseman. He's not a defensive defenseman.
DeAngelo and Fox are both offensive defensemen.
Yeah, I know, and that's the problem.
So you got Shea and you've got Trouba. Those 4 guys, only one of them is really a two-way guy, and even Shea is average two-way. It's not like he's an elite.
Shea stinks. He needs to go. But every
He
time
doesn't
he's on the ice,
stink.
that guy
He's not a top line. He's not Ryan McDonough, and that's what you're comparing him to. So yeah, he's going to let you down that way.
No, I'm not comparing him to Ryan McDonough. I'm just saying he's not.
All Ranger fans compare him to Ryan McDonough because he was paired with Ryan McDonough. So yeah, you're going to compare him to Ryan McDonough.
Not me, but that's fine.
He was supposed to be the next Ryan
Like,
McDonough. That's why they paired him with Ryan
The biggest
McDonough.
problem is Lundqvist's contract. It's going to hurt the Rangers if he stays.
It's 2 years, and after this year, it's down to 1.
Actually,
That contract's not
it's
hurting.
It's 1 year. It's next year, and that's it. He's done after next year.
What did I just say? Am I mute?
He said 2 years.
He's agreeing.
It's a year and a half. It's not 2 years. So.
Sorry, I was including this whole year. You know, the year counts.
But to me, I mean, the Rangers, they need to figure something out quickly. I mean, if they want to get Lundqvist a cup, because they're running out of time. So.
I hate to say it, I don't think it happens.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely not.
I mean, he had his shot against the Kings, but, you know,
They had Dan Girardi, so that's all that matters.
Dan Girardi screwed them up big time. So.
Without a doubt.
But, I mean, you can see the difference when Panarin's not on the ice with the Rangers on how bad they look.
Oh, it's night and day. Night and day. I mean, you have someone who's going in there game in and game out, who's basically leading the way for them defensively.
And offensively.
Yeah. To now, all of a sudden, you're looking lost. They look lost a little bit without him, and I hate to kind of say it like that, but they do.
He's a playmaker on the ice.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Admiral. They lost their Admiral on the ice.
Yes.
And no, they don't have the talent around to make up for that.
It's not, I don't think that there's lack of talent. I think that
No, there's not lack
a
of
lot of their
talent,
young
no.
guys just have to kind of grow a little bit.
Well, to make up for the Admiral aspect of it.
I don't think Panarin's their admiral, to be honest with you. I think their admiral is Lundqvist. I think Lundqvist is the one calling the shots. I'll be honest. I knew a guy that kind of knows the inside of the Rangers. And Lundqvist is a little bit of a great guy, great mentor for hockey. As a teammate, he can get on your ass. And I'm not one to shy away from it. I think that's very good. I think that if you're on me, I'll be better. If I'm on you, you'll be better. It just kind of works that way. Henrik Lundqvist is making this team better by kind of trying to instruct the defenseman. The coach, and by the way, Quinn's done an amazing job with this team. No one thought the Rangers would be where they're at right now. I really think he's coach of the year caliber right now. I don't think he'll win it, but he should be in the conversation.
I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. I think the Panarin injury is a blessing in disguise. I think that They need to trade Kreider. They need to do at least one more little, I guess you could say, a little bit of a rebuild this year and draft and sign some players next year. I don't think that the talent's not there. I don't think they're ready to be in the playoffs. I wouldn't want to waste a year as an 8th seed going into the playoffs. I mean, I know anything can happen, but, I think you got to trade Georgie, and unfortunately, Lundqvist is not going to waive his no-trade clause, and you're going to be stuck with him regardless. So I think you got to maximize Georgie and get whatever you can from here on out. It's like I said, you don't want to be an 8th seed. I don't think they're good enough to go that far in the playoffs defensively. So.
No, I agree with you. I definitely think that
I think the Rangers should keep Kreider, but I know you want him gone, but
he's going to be.
Still a playmaker.
You're talking about. You're just complaining about salaries, but you're going to sign Chris Kreider instead of trading him for a young defenseman.
No. I'm not going to overpay for him. So
yes, you are. Because then he's going to hit free agency if you don't overpay for him. That's how the thing works. That's literally what free agency is.
No, I know. I understand that. So, but you're saying you should just trade him and get something for him.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, especially if they don't, and he walks anyway. Now, what did you get?
Right.
No, I understand that point. But, I mean, he's just a good playmaker, and I don't know. So who are you going to get for him?
Well, honestly, you're looking at probably a draft pick, and that's fine.
Something better than nothing.
Right. Like, example, I told everybody the Red Sox should trade Mookie Betts. Look what the Red Sox are now doing. No, look, we're about to get hit with the heaviest penalty Major League Baseball has ever seen. The Dodgers are now out on Betts, apparently. Who else wants Betts? Oh, San Diego. You're calling. I'll field your call. Let's see if we can get this to work. You have young pitchers. We want to dump David Price. We want young pitchers back. Let's see if we can make this work. You have to be early to this party, and I say this a lot. If you're late to this dance, you're going to be late to this dance for a few years. You need to kind of it's not a gamble, but you need to get this right, because if you screw this up, and Chris Kreider, let's say you sign Kreider, and, let's say Zach Werenski becomes available in the offseason. Oh, Columbus wants to trade him for pieces. They're not going to, but let's just play the what-if game. Zach Werenski is a great young defenseman. I would much rather pay Zach Werenski than Chris Kreider. And I don't think anybody in the planet would rather pay Kreider than Werenski. But the Rangers need defensive help, so you're even adding a cherry on the caveat. You really need to nail this, because if you don't, the Rangers are not going to get better. They're going to be where they are now, a middle-of-the-road, non-playoff team. John Davidson did not sign up for that. The Rangers don't want that. And quite frankly, Panarin's going to be fed up sooner rather than later, and he's going to want out, and then you really lost everything.
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, but then Mark Stoll's contract coming off next year, right?
That's the true blessing in disguise.
I think he has one more year. He's got one more year. So after next year, him and Lundqvist are coming off. So you're getting rid of two large contracts.
And when that happens, I think, is when the Rangers make that turn to become the better team that we know them for.
Oh, I
hope so. 2022.
I'm so sick of Islander fans running around
still
here.
A couple years away. And when those contracts expire, I think we'll see a turn.
So let me ask you, how many years away do you think the Rangers are from actually being Stanley Cup contenders?
I'll say 2 to 3 years.
Maybe 4.
I'll be honest with you. There's a couple guys that the Rangers could go sign this offseason that could really change some things.
You think 4 years?
I would say I'm going to say 2 or 3, but it could be. Again, if they make all the right moves, their draft picks pan out, and they go out and they sign a free agent or two, you're looking at maybe even next year they could be not a serious contender, but they could be a top 3 team in the division and then go on a deep playoff run after that.
Well, I mean,
like I said, this year I think they were a borderline playoff team, and like you said, if they make the right moves, I think the year after they're definitely a playoff team.
I'm looking at this free agent class this season coming up. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of talent.
Such as?
Mikko Rantanen, the guy the Rangers should go get. I mean, Taylor Hall's going to be there. These are the defensemen available, right? Alex Pietrangelo is going to be a free agent. He just won a Stanley Cup with the Blues. He's a defenseman. He can touch the puck and score if he needs to. The guy's going to bring a leadership quality to a group of young defensemen. That'd be great. Tyson Barrie, I don't get because he fits the Trouba mold that you already have. Justin Schultz is a former Penguin, okay, who is a defenseman, and guess what else he would be able to do? He'd be able to tell you how to not get beat by Sid the Kid, which kills the Rangers every time the Penguins come, which is great in itself. Again, Mike Green's too old. Torrey Krug is an offensive defenseman. Here's a guy that the Rangers should go get, and honestly, he's going to be cheap. I can't pronounce his name, but I know he's a great defenseman. Zach Pogosian. He's a Sabre. He's a hitter. He's a nasty hitter. He blocks shots, and he doesn't care what he does offensively. He's a perfect fit. There's a lot of guys available. Cody Ceci, Young. There's a lot of defensemen on the market the Rangers could go get. So Jake Muzzin, if you want to take a gamble on him. Hammernick, he's not going to come here because he wanted out. There's a lot of guys that you can look at around the league right now, and that's just defensemen. That doesn't include Holtby, Backstrom, Corey Crawford. The Rangers don't need goalie, okay? So don't shoot me. But there's a lot of talent in this free agent class. Mikko Rantanen, I don't know if I said his name, but he's probably going to be the prized possession. Rangers have a lot of chances this offseason to really improve this team by a lot.
Yeah, but
Taylor Hall.
I don't know what their like money issue is, or what they have to spend. So
Stahl's probably going to get told to retire. I'll just call that now. Mark Stahl will retire. He's not going to get brought back.
Well, he's a $5 million cap hit next year.
He's going to be told to retire.
It's almost
He's going to be told to retire. Just like I am now.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. I kind of hope they make the list, and I kind of hope they don't, so they get a better draft pick. So it's a tough situation.
Without a doubt, and you know what? At least there's an owner in MSG who likes to put a good product out. In terms of hockey.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much.
Not the Knicks.
Not so much basketball, but
hockey.
At least hockey.
Well, you know what? I still can't stand them anyway. So he's you know what? So
the Rangers don't even have anyone they need to really sign either. The only one I definitely consider bringing back is Jesper Fast.
Yeah, well, at some point they're going to have to sign Tony DeAngelo, so you're going to have to keep that guy somehow.
You're talking years away for that.
He's going to want big money.
He's not going to want big money. He's played well for a week and a half. How long has he been in the league? 6 weeks? Come on now, stop. Now you're back on your cowboy BS that Zeke's better than Barry Sanders.
Stop it.
Cut your nonsense.
Watch. You even tell yourself the guy's going to be a stud.
Who?
Tony DeAngelo.
Oh, Tony DeAngelo, yes. But I'm not saying he's going to be. By the way, oh, man, can you imagine if Ovechkin comes to New York? That'd be great.
Oh, gee, never meet Ovechkin.
What? Every team could use Get off my phone. Every team can use Alexander Ovechkin.
You got Panarin, who's 10 points behind the leading scorer in the NHL right now. So.
Goodbye, Beef.
I don't want to.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Goodbye.
I'll talk to you later, Tyler.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Let me just clarify this, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are not hockey goers at home. Every team needs Alexander Ovechkin. He's the greatest sniper of this generation. So the fact that he just said no, the Rangers don't need him is asinine.
He's never going to leave. He's never going to leave Washington.
He's a free agent next year. Not 2020, the free agent class after this.
He's not going to leave Washington.
No, I'm not saying it either, but if he hits the market, it'd certainly be interesting.
I don't think
Come to play with Panarin? Hey.
I don't think he'll get that far either. He retires or stays.
No, listen, I'm not saying the Rangers go get him, but let's just be honest. They have had a history of getting older guys to come play for them past their prime.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yager.
There's one for the memory bank.
Yeah. Rick Nash.
Well, I don't know if he was past his prime.
Nah, he aged quickly.
He just didn't produce as much as we expected him to.
That's because every time he made a move to the net, he fell.
And then he hit the infamous crossbar in the overtime against the Kings. So
I don't think that was a crossbar. I think that was a goal that we got screwed on.
Well, to them it was a crossbar, so that's all that matters.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's true. Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry. I get excited when I talk about hockey.
Hey, listen, Rangers where it's at right now. But you know what? The Islanders doing pretty well too.
Nah, I don't think
Just
so.
throwing it out there.
You
I don't
can't
think
knock
so.
them. I mean, they're what, top 3 right now. So,
We don't have to praise them though.
Listen,
You just don't. You don't have to mention
you
it.
got to acknowledge it at least.
it has to be.
Yeah, they're playing all right.
You know,
Better than all right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I agree, but
Right. Listen, I don't have to be the moral standard anymore. That's what Eric's for. I can go back to being my. I don't need to give you praise. No, I don't have to do that.
all on you, Eric.
all right, no pressure there. All right, I get that. That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
But I heard about him. He likes the pressure. They call him E-Man.
That's right. I'm gonna. All right. Anyway,
I just love the fact that I threw a nickname at him and he went, all right, let's
Yep.
go.
Next.
Time to go.
again, 845-748-3272.
478.
That's what I said.
You said-
845-478-3272.
You didn't say 4. You said 78.
478-3272.
Oh, all right.
All right.
All right.
So, this is almost, I hate to say it, this is almost the end. This was a fun first night.
It was very fun first night. No one can tell because I have a stoic face. I'm enjoying this greatly.
Yeah, we can tell.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, you know.
Absolutely. Look at you over there on the boards.
the
and
board-
everything.
Looking, Mr. Professional.
I'm hanging in there. The board's a little confusing, but I'm hanging in there.
Well,
I got Speedy, the expert over here.
can you take us to a commercial break?
Sure can.
No
Well,
pressure.
with an answer like that, how could we not feel confident?
No pressure. Again, you're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You smell it?
How can you check us out?
Facebook,
Facebook, Twitter,
Instagram.
Listen, check us out. You know where to find us.
I have no idea. That's why I have Speedy do it.
845-748-3272.
You did it again. You didn't mention the 4 again. I heard you this time.
There was a 4.
4 what? For break.
We need to get here for break real quick because there's going to be some issues here behind the scenes.
No, I said for what? And you were supposed to go, I don't know, you tell me, for break. And then he hits the break button.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Sometimes there's not much to.
Yeah.
I manage the baseball team.
Little League?
Fantasy League.
We are back with the home stretch on the Worldwide Sports Radio.
Hello. Welcome back to the home stretch. Tyler again with Jordan and Eric, as Jordan was a little hot on the button there. But hey, listen. It's all
I
good.
dig it. It was the first night, first try.
Hey, listen, that's what
Kudos
she
to you,
says.
Jordan.
Good job.
Ooh. Hey,
What? That was a positive thing.
you know, I don't know if you can see in the video. I keep turning my head to the left, might be your right, whatever. Did we not just see LeBron and Kyrie go at it?
Yeah, we actually just watched that game here,
I'm just
which disappoints me. I'm not a huge LeBron guy, but
him versus Kyrie though. That's talk worthy in itself.
no, it definitely is.
But of course, one team's a lot better than the others right now.
Yeah, well,
Injuries and whatever else.
well their best
But-
player isn't going to play till next year. So.
Now, speaking of injuries, though, did you see last night who returned to the hardwood? Zion.
Ah,
Zion.
who's that?
I don't know, just the guy scoring 17 points in about 3 minutes and really kind of turning around his kind of game itself because, let's be honest, the first 3 quarters of that game, it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's draining threes.
Threes?
Threes.
Threes.
Like behind the line. Now, granted,
Like Steph Curry 3?
pretty much. Now,
No,
while
you
he
don't-
was at Duke, I don't think he had a game where he hit more than 3 threes.
I don't think he hit I don't think he had a
He didn't
game
have a
more
game.
than 2.
He hit 4 last night. Now, is this a little attest to, oh, he's a big man, yeah, we'll leave him open, kind of, like
Yeah, I can see him getting
daring
a
you
little
to
bit
shoot
of
the shot.
I think what you're going to see him get is the same type of notion that teams gave LeBron and Giannis when they got in the league. You're not going to beat us inside. Your athleticism's not going to burn us. We're going to make you shoot. And I think that everyone was, Zion's hurt.
I think the injury gave Zion time to actually work on his jump shot. Like Blake Griffin 2. Ben Simmons is Blake Griffin 2.0. But he still doesn't feel comfortable shooting the ball, right?
Is that weird, though, that Zion in one game has more three-pointers than Ben Simmons?
That's
like career.
The 76ers should look at him and go, Are you kidding now? Are you serious?
I don't know. That just kind of that has to sting a little bit, though, right? Like your entire career, guy has one game and more 3-pointers than you.
Right.
Just
in 3 minutes, let alone.
Oh yeah, that's
exactly.
Right. 3-minute man. My takeaway from Zion's performance last night, though, to answer your question, was: is he gonna be the guy like Lou Williams who cannot put his effort in for a full 32 minutes? So you have to limit his minutes. But when he does play at a high level, he can drop the ball wherever he wants? Or is he going to eventually get the conditioning down to be able to do that for 35, 40 minutes a night?
See,
that's the question that somebody has to answer.
You're right. But watching his game last night, I'm almost reminded of it's going to be the same as like a Charles Barkley, kind of like the
amount of rebound.
Maybe not as dominant, like a Shaquille O'Neal. Hang by the basket, grab the boards. It's close. It's close by to him. He's going to fight you for the ball tooth and nail, and he's going to put it back in.
I mean,
easily.
It doesn't seem like he can run up and down the court. I mean, he's not in that kind of shape yet, at least.
That's
285 is pretty big for a basketball player. So
that's why I think he might turn more Shaq-esque.
Yeah,
but he's too short to be Shaq-esque.
Right, but
he's a little quicker than Shaq would. A little more of a jump shot.
Maybe a younger Shaq, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
young Shaq.
But he showed last night that he's not afraid. If he gets a wide open look for three, he's not afraid to shoot it. He'll take that shot every time, open.
I mean, they were giving it to him, so
right.
And he delivered though.
Right. Yeah, but I love Draymond Green. I love Draymond. He's a top 20 player in basketball, right? Draymond Green now is struggling because teams are like, well, you're the second best player. Eventually, you're going to have to shoot. So we're going to guard you as if to shoot. And he's having a down year by his standards. Mm-hmm. Not defensively, I don't think, but the team itself is imploding. So Zion is going, you're not going to be this inside. We're going to make you shoot. What happens now when the adjustment is made by the rest of the league to we now have to contest your outside shot? So are you really that good at it, or is it just you can knock down a wide-open NBA shot?
That's what I think we're going to see some growing pains. If he's contested on those shots, is he still taking them? Is he still making them?
And against guys your own size.
Right.
Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Rudy Gobert. These are the guys he's going to be guarded against. He's not going to be guarded against, Pat Beverly, who is an amazing defender, but he's very undersized.
Well, let's not forget, though, that he was guarded, at least on the inside, by Aldridge last night a couple of times.
Right, but his athleticism is going to speak for itself. So on the inside, I don't really think it matters who guards him. He's going to get his if he continues to go inside enough. Outside, when you got a guy that's wingspan is going to be like this, that's where I think you're going to see Zion kind of be like, what, Coach K, damn, you're not here. Shoot, damn. I think that's what you're going to see from Zion. I'm not positive, but I was on the record saying I don't think Zion's going to be a bust per se, but I don't think he was the best player in this draft.
No, agreed. But now you talk to it. Now, say Zion leads his team. I mean, now granted, you're talking about a Memphis team and you're talking about a Pelican team. But now, if New Orleans is right there, right? And they make the playoffs, Zion plays well down the stretch. Is it that much more easy for him to be the Rookie of the Year over Morant?
It's an interesting point because I believe firmly that in any sport, no matter how short you're up, no matter how long, because Gary Sanchez to me was Rookie of the Year that year, right? His rookie year to me. I don't care how long you're up. I don't care if you're the best rookie in that class with a
substantial amount of games played. So let's just say Zion plays, how many games left this season? 40?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he plays 52 games, right? And he is superbly better than John Morant. If it's even, it's even, and then Morant should get it. But if Zion outperforms Morant from this point on, you got to give it to Zion because he deserved it. But if it's even, you have to award Morant for being on the floor. His minutes are longer, so his stats aren't as inflated or deflated as Zion's would be. You need to have some sort of, I don't want to say tiebreaker, but if it's a tiebreaker, it would have to be Morant played X amount of games. You know what I'm saying? Like John Morant played the full season. His team was led by him. They weren't led by Lonzo and Redick for 3 months while you were rehabbing.
Ingram.
Oh, yeah. Well, that helps, too.
A lot.
Well, the Lakers picked the wrong guy, right? Was Brandon Ingram's like 25? Was Kuzma 12?
Not too shabby, huh?
No, not bad at all for a bench guy. No, he's their starting 4. You don't say. Oh,
go figure.
Yeah, well,
Go figure
that's
that
great.
one.
Good job. Good job. Kobe's so happy.
Yeah, Tyler, I tell you, this was a fun night. And I know...
Don't mimic me.
This is a Thursday night that you're gonna have a lot more of us on moving forward, and your show
is that a thing?
Your show is also
that's a thing.
You're also during the week, Tuesday through
Friday. So
from
I'll
8
be
to
here
10 as
alone
well.
tomorrow, is what they're trying to tell you nicely. I'll be alone tomorrow.
So make sure you tune in to those nights as well, especially Thursday night, but those nights as well.
Thursday.
So
I have to be back Thursday.
Well, you have to be back tomorrow, technically.
Oh, okay. And you're all going to be here too.
Thursday.
So I'll be back Thursday.
That too. But tomorrow as well.
I'm lost.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow by myself. We will. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, to be quite honest. Eric's not here to guide me, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Sorry.
Well, it's really your fault.
Well, you have Speedy, so.
Who?
Speedy.
Oh, that's right, Speedy, the silent assassin. Hi, Speedy. Hi. That's right. He's silent because he's not talking. So that means I can't do my ending the way I would want to do it. So thank you, Eric and Jordan, for coming on. And
Hey,
this is
looking forward to
My pleasure.
to more action now. More Thursdays. It's gonna
Thursdays.
be Thursdays.
How about more days?
Thursdays. Well, that too.
Days?
Thursdays. 8 to 10.
Are you calling me a days?
Worldwide Sports Radio Network. 845-747-8372.
See, he doesn't say it right. See, I called him again. This time I know it. This time I knew he screwed it up.
He caught himself.
Who's he?
845-478-3272 is the number.
So,
hey, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as he said, we're going to be here a lot longer, so we'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 10, where me and Speedy will do me and Speedy things, whatever that is. I don't really know. But now, here's the most important part, Jordan. Did Speedy inform you of the ABCs of this show? No, he didn't go over the ABCs? Okay. A means always be on time. B means you bet your ass we're going to deliver every night. And C means see ya!
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.